So, it's now December of 1776. Imagine yourself being a member of the Continental Army. Now, it's not a hard one to do, guys. Understand that there were, in fact, children who fought in the war just by lying about their age. You're cold, you're afraid, you're nowhere near home at this point in history, and you've seen quite a bit. Now, you know that your Continental Army is commanded by George Washington, has really been hit hard with no real concrete wins or gains made in the 6 months that we have declared independence from England. At the Battle of Lexington and Concord, we were able to keep the English away both from the cities of Lexington and Concord, Massachusetts long enough so that the ammunition and weapons that we had stored there were able to be removed and hidden from the English army, and only had a handful of casualties. So while we didn't actually win because they were able to still capture those two cities, at least we got what we needed out. With the Battle of Bunker Hill, we see kind of a similar situation where we had the higher ground, but after days of fighting, we actually ran out of ammunition and ended up getting forced out of our position. But while a concrete loss, it was still kind of a win for us because at the same time, we see ourselves able to have taken out several British soldiers, somewhere around 1,000. Well, it's now winter. Fighting's been going on for 6 months. Really no concrete wins. You're miserable. And honestly, you're wondering, what is George Washington thinking? Well, P.S., George Washington kind of feels the same way you do and realizes that unless something good starts to happen here, he's going to lose the faith of his army and the loyalty of the Americans and possibly the war. So, with today's lesson, what you guys are going to be doing is actually looking at what's known as the Battle of Trenton. This happens on Christmas night, so December 25th, 1776, into December 26th, 1776. And we're going to do this by looking at a series of maps and some artwork. Now, you're going to notice that if you look at your lesson organizer, okay, one of the organizers you have that you will access is the Crossing the Delaware Painting and Map Note Catcher. Now, guys, I'm going to walk you through how to do this job by giving you an example. All right, as you can see on the next several pages, you'll be doing the same thing with a series of other documents and images, etc. So for right now, let's focus on this beautiful painting. Okay, it was done by Emanuel Lutz in 1851. So my first question to you, of course, is this a primary or secondary source if the event happened in 1776? Now, the painting itself, you will notice on here, guys, that there are points of reference that I expect you to go ahead and click on to look for those details. Now, do I want you copying and pasting what is being shown on the painting word for word? Absolutely not. I want you to interpret the painting yourself. All right, notice the colors. Notice the figures that are central to the image. Notice the environment. Notice the various types of individuals in the boat along with George Washington. These details are the ones I really would like you to focus on as you complete this activity. Now, once you're done with this painting, you will actually do something very similar with the battle map I've provided you. And the reason for this is so that you can understand the movement of not only Washington's troops, but the soldiers that they were actually attacking in Trenton, New Jersey. These individuals were known as Hessians, or basically German guns for hire. They are what are known as mercenaries, so basically soldiers of fortune. Now, you will do the same with this painting. You will notice that on the activity guides, it calls for a minimum of 7 important details in each column. Please take your time and do this fully. The more information you have going into the next several pages, the more easily you are going to understand what is being required of your understanding of this particular battle. Now, I'm going to take you to the first slide real quick, okay? Up here, guys, notice that this particular lesson has actually multiple must-dos in red. We have one should do. This is just to give you another version of the story. And personally, I think it's worth your time. And then finally, the last one is a piece of Thomas Paine propaganda. This is an aspire to. Obviously, I would love for you to do all parts, but at least get through 1 through 6 before turning this in. If you have any questions, as usual, make sure you ask.